Lovely cushion header. But Gerrard! Oh, you beauty! What a head, son! What a head!
Yes, guys, welcome back to Two Res Podcast. I'm Scott Nico, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, James O.B. O'Brien, to go over Liverpool 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. OB, it's a Sunday, a day of rest, a day when you just want a nice, easy, chilled day to watch your favorite team. The first half was very much that, and I thought, this is standard. I'm going to go and put the chicken in the oven at halftime, then I'll do my podcast with OB, and then I'm going to enjoy everything that Sunday's got to give. And then the second half started. I cannot remember a second half as bad as that since probably Wednesday night against Everton.
Yeah.
But it's long in the memory. OB, that was horrific.
Really tough to watch, Scott. I think from our perspective, I think Kanate picking up that yellow and then getting away with one a little bit in some people's eyes, and Slot prompting the change maybe made us a bit more nervous. Kwanzaa's clearly not of a level Kanate was, so it put us a little bit different in the centre defence. But they come in and they had a go. And I even felt that. I felt that even when we went to 2-0. I felt Wolves hadn't come to sit back and try and disrupt us. And they'd come to play football when they're not a terrible football team. They're really not.
We said it this morning, didn't we? But I do feel we say it against every opposition, like they're decent. I'm worried about today. We say it every game, and that's just the life of being a Liverpool fan. But Wolves and Cunha especially are decent. And
Slot loves talking about Cunha, doesn't he? So he frequently refers to Cunha, and I think he's a bit of a fan. So I think he might be somebody that we might be linked with quite heavily in the future, depending on what happens with our other strikers. But he causes so many problems for you, just naturally, by the way he carries the ball, his passing ability, is just his general play. They were good today. They were fresh. They didn't have a game in midweek. We'd obviously gone through that nervous game the other night with that outcome that was probably a bit of a kick in the teeth for the group, but they put everything into that game as well. So I think mentally, physically, we probably looked a little bit drained in the second half. However, we've got 4 points from them 2 games, Scott. And I know that feels like it feels almost like, oh my goodness, we've dropped off the pace a little bit, but we haven't been beaten in either of the 2 games. And we've won one and we've drawn one. And that's massive. It's massive. That's all we ever needed to do. If you'd have said to me, you go into them 2 games and you get 4 points, I'd have took it beforehand. And I wouldn't have cared about the performance. So we've got to keep that in context. We've got some more tough games coming up, though, haven't we? We've got Villa, and then we've got City, haven't we?
Villa and Man City, both away as well. I mean, you don't need me to tell you. 2 really tough away games off the back of a tough away game at Goodison, tough home game. Well, we've got the 3 points, but my God, that second half, the drop-off was seismic. And obviously, we look mentally scarred from Wednesday night against Everton. I'm going to bring up the stats, OB. I'm not sure if you've looked, so this might be a shock to you. And it might not be a shock to you.
I did see a couple flash up in the second half when they had like 68% possession, you know what I mean, part of the way through and stuff. So
look at that. That's the second half. 0 goal attempts, 0 shots on goal, obviously, shots off goal, block shots, 0, 0, 0. And then look at Wolves, 10 goal attempts, shots on goal, 3 shots off. I mean, if that doesn't tell you that we were absolutely shitting ourselves off the back of Everton, and it was a crazy second half where we were just desperate to get it over the line at Anfield as well. I mean, I don't know about you, but that second half, I was just sat slumped on the couch thinking, I cannot see or visualize us getting to full time and getting this over the line, getting out of here with 3 points. I just couldn't see it.
It's really interesting. So you can look at that one or two ways, that when we aren't firing as a team, we're still difficult to beat. And that shows in the fact that we've only lost 1 Premier League game all season. I thought defensively we grew into it as the second half went on. I thought Kwanzaa started off quite shoddy, but there was a really good tackle when the ball came into the box. I actually thought Endo stuck himself about really well when he come on. I thought Van Dijk made a couple of really good headers and interceptions at various points. Bradley was good when he came on. Trent wasn't at it, and I think that showed. And early in that second half, I was thinking you need to get him off the pitch because he's just causing us more problems. You're not going to believe this, Scott, and I don't know if you've seen it, but Robbo got man of the match on Sky.
You are joking.
No, seriously, I don't know how.
You give that out, Carragher.
I have absolutely no idea, but he just come flashing up.
We're about to talk for 5 minutes about how Robertson is absolutely finished in a Liverpool shirt. This season, OB, we've said it on a few other streams, the amount of left backs that are coming to prominence that are like it's the year of the left backs for me. Anthony Robertson at Fulham, that Milos Kerkez at Bournemouth, today that Rayan Ait-Nouri. Some of the footwork from him, he's absolutely superb. And then Andy Robertson, watching him on our left, this is going to sound dreadful because I'm a nothing and a nobody. And Andy Robertson is a hero. He's a legend. I thank him for everything he's done in the last 8 years. But he's like me playing vets football. My mind is like, I'll get that ball and my legs try to follow and I'm half a second too late. There was a moment in the first half that he went in for a 50-50 near the halfway line, skipped past him. There was a moment in the second half, again, he just completely got his legs wrong and in a twist and they went through another attack. And then again, in the last 30 seconds, I don't know if you noticed it, the 95th and 30 seconds, it was in the corner and you're like, right, Andy, just see this one out, make connections, snuff this challenge out. And of course, they skip past him like he wasn't there. And you see his heart and his head drop again. And luckily, Endo done what Endo does, got his body in the way, stopped the attack and actually won the free kick to take the complete sting out of the last minute or two. But Andy Robertson is absolutely finished at the top level of football. It's that old Jamie Carragher statement, leave the football before the football leaves you. And Trent was equally awful on the other side. But let's just talk about Andy Robertson. Who on earth gave him man of the match? Was Stevie Wonder on the panel?
I have absolutely no idea. I just saw it flash up just before I come to do this. And I was like, that blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. However, I think that the best players for Liverpool today were probably in defence. I thought Virgil had a good game, or a decent game by his standards. I think the midfield were industrious as well, without being good. Really good off the ball at points. The only thing was, though, there was a 20-minute period where we didn't kick the ball properly. Did you notice that? It was like everything was like a mishit and a mispass. And even like Gravenberch, who is probably the guy who controls the ball best in the team, and his first touch is world-renowned, and a lot of people talk about it. He lost the ball a couple of times. Now, he still had a good game, don't get me wrong, but there was still a bit of that going on. So just look at them stats, Scott. That is absolutely astonishing.
Carragher said it on the comms. He said, Liverpool are top of the league. Some people calling them the best team in Europe at the minute. They're going for the league title, 7 points clear, thank God. And they can't string 3 passes together at home against the 4th worst team in the league, on paper anyway, with the standings.
Yeah, it's you know what though?
Stuff.
Let's flip it around the other way. Play badly.
Let's talk about the positives then.
Yeah, play
badly, get the 3 points.
Yeah, win the game, and it's another game less than that we need to chalk off. I think that it's just so strange that we have had this drop off at this point. However, the intensity of the games, I imagine we'll see a better performance, certainly against City, without any doubt, because the intensity of it. But I think from an overall perspective, I think it's another game chalked off. We stay 7 points clear. It's another weekend where we haven't got any worse a position than we had at the start. And it must be frustrating for the opposition fans to see a poor Liverpool performance, yet we still grind out the 3 points. It's very Man United in the 90s, because everybody remembers the champagne football and the big wins. But I remember the ones where I think they didn't deserve that today. And they'd always find a way. And you know, when it used to really grind you, Scott.
Are you thinking Federico Makeda against Aston Villa?
Absolutely. Even before that, even in the 90s, when they were just doing enough in loads and loads of football games, and you'd think, they're not that good. they're not playing that well, and it all gets forgotten in time. But they're the games that win you the league. They're the moments that win you the league. The Kwanzaa tackle, Endo getting across on either side towards the end to stomp out any cross coming in. That's the moments that change the league title. People forget that. It's not just about fancy down football and having the ball at your feet and possession. It's the stuff you do off the ball sometimes when you're up against it and it's 11 players and more of them are about defending than attacking because that's the way football is. You know what I mean? So it's about us making sure that we've got them moments in us, and it looked like we had today. It really did. We dug deep, and the commitment was there from that defensive unit, especially when things weren't going well.
Well, it always will be with Van Dijk, won't they, with that captain's armband on. You can't think of a better leader for Liverpool right now, especially obviously the days of Gerrard and Henderson are gone. I was watching the Crystal Palace-Everton game last night, and Crystal Palace deserved to win it. And I had them in last man standing as well, so I'm a bit gutted with that. But the Everton team, I think they made 2 changes from Wednesday night. And considering they were only playing, 2 or 3 days later? And then I sat there thinking, why is there's no talk about, can you play 2 high intensity games in the space of 3 days? But whenever it's Liverpool, it's like, it's the talk of all these games and asking the same players. And when Arne Slot named the lineup, I did think, and Carragher said it in his comms as well, he did wonder if it was maybe a game for Kwanzaa or maybe a game for Harvey Elliott or a game for Tsimikas.
Yeah.
Do you think it might have been?
I don't know. But the thing is, we'll never know. And I don't know whether he'll then look at possibly making 1 or 2 changes for Wednesday night and resting a couple of players Wednesday night. But when we talk about resting, we're not dropping off on quality. Whether he thought it was really important to make sure that we nailed tonight and then have another look on Wednesday and reset and go, who's fit, who's available. He has got to think about these 2 games, though. He has got to think about how he's going to navigate the Aston Villa game and then go into City. And that'll be really, really interesting. It will give us an idea of what he's thinking. Wouldn't surprise me if Nunes starts against Villa. There's one for you, I think.
Nunes, I also wouldn't be Curtis Jones, if he's fit. I was going to say, Tsimikas, like Carragher mentioned.
Yeah, possibly. Bradley probably in. However, I would keep Bradley in for both games. I'd start him for both as things stand.
Let's do it, Obi. Let's just get straight into Trent off the back of that. I am absolutely finished. Trent is dead to me.
Wow. You're all honestly, in there, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. He's absolutely dead to me. His head is not on it. And I can keep coming on every stream and saying it, but we've got a league to win here. And there was one moment in the first half that made me think maybe the Liverpool squad know it too. He played a dreadful ball to Alisson. Did you see it in the first 10 minutes? And Alisson just stopped it going for a corner and put it out for a throw in. And I was looking for Alisson to look at him and be like, come on, Trent, help me out. He didn't even acknowledge him. He just ran back to his goal.
Ran back away.
Thought, I wonder if there's some friction in the dressing room. I wonder if there's words that, especially off that Man United dreadful performance from Trent, I wonder if there's just, you're not with us, you're not part of us, you're not putting your body on the line for us. And that can happen. You can imagine if they know that he's leaving and he knows he's leaving and it's been all but confirmed and made public yet, you can imagine that happening. But the same, I know Conor Bradley's only young, but he must be looking at thinking, I'm twice the player he is at the minute, with the commitment, with putting my body on the line, with sprinting, with charging back, with covering positions. Trent, I know he got hooked on 60 minutes. Largely it'd be because him and Jota are just back from injury. Slot is big on that about pre-planning his substitutions, but I'd have probably took him off at half-time. This is like a seismic drop-off from a player of Trent's quality. There can only be one reason, and it's glaring everyone in the face.
He's going, isn't he? He's going. I think we all know it. I think for me, it's a little bit strange. I do think that Bradley probably suits Slot's system a little bit better because he seems more willing to make that, that outside overlap that they used to have. Bradley tends to go inside. It seems to suit Slot. And I remember Robbo talking about Slot particularly asking for that that undercut run back inside when he's looking for it. Bradley, that's Bradley's thing, and he's doing it a lot. I do think that Trent probably hasn't got the physicality to get up and down the same way Bradley has, and I think Slot has noticed that and started to think, no.
Why, Obi? He's only 26. What do you mean physicality? Like, do you think he hasn't got the engine?
I don't think he's got the engine.
The heart, the desire. Like, what is
missing?
I
don't think he's never been blessed with ridiculous pace. We all know that. But I just don't think he's got the engine. I really don't. And I think it was always about the passing. But some of his passing today was absolutely awful. It looked lazy. It looked arrogant. It looked not interested. And I don't know whether that's just him sometimes. But when it's not going well, it's not a good look. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, Scott. I don't know what's going on in his head. I'm sure we'll find out in 5 months' time or whatever what's actually been going on behind the scenes. But it feels like something very differently is changing in that right back position. Feels like he isn't necessarily part of the team in the way he operates, and that's just from watching the football, not anything else that goes with it. And I think ultimately Slot's got a couple of big calls to make around who he plays in the next few months. And then he probably needs to get in some reinforcements in the summer anyway in a couple of positions. Kwanzaa did make a good tackle second half, but is Kwanzaa really our second choice centre-back behind potentially, you know what I mean, Konate, or alongside Konate if Van Dijk did ever decide to go? The answer is probably not. We need to get somebody in. There's a lot of big decisions that need making.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? But we've got to enjoy this season first. If that's what we're doing, are we enjoying it? I didn't enjoy that second half. Like I say, I was slumped on the couch. But yeah, Konate, he's fantastic. He really is. Can't speak highly enough of him, but he makes so many little silly, niggly errors. And today, getting hooked off at halftime, it was the right thing to do. I don't think anyone would have left him on for the second half. He was kind of on not an orange card. The next foul, basically, if it was, what's the middle between white and yellow? Basically, the next foul, he was getting a red card, wasn't he? So, you know, it is smart management from Arne Slot. Everyone could see it, but he didn't have to get himself in them situations with that little stupid pullback. There was just a little bit of naive, maybe a little bit of embarrassment of losing it in the final third. Just let him run off. Don't take the yellow card. But that seemed to unsettle us loads. As good as Kwanzaa did, don't get me wrong, but it's like when Joe Gomez come off after 10 minutes against Plymouth Argyle. It messes with Slot's plan. He's got a plan for the 90 minutes, the formation, the changes, pre-planned substitutions more often than not. And it just messes with his plan, and we just don't need it when we've got a title to win anyway. Exactly that. I mean, it didn't help today. Players will do silly things at certain points. We all know that. I think Slot was really clever in the way he moved him out, took him out the firing line. I don't know. I just worry with Kwanzaa generally, because I think he's a lad that showed a lot of promise last season. Had that disastrous first day start under Slot's new reign, and never really seemed to have completely recovered. Although in isolation, that tackle that he got in the box was absolutely massive. Really was. Yeah, it was. It was huge. But I mean, the game itself. Salah, I always praise him for always being onside, but that was unforgivable, him being offside for that goal. I was jumping up off the couch thinking there's no way he's going to be offside, and he was clearly offside. That's not him at all. Whether he just took his eye off the ball for a second or the pass was just a little bit late. But then the penalty, I thought, here we go, Salah will get a second here with Jota. It was clearly a dive. But the most frustrating thing was Diaz had a tap in at the far post. If he'd have just stepped over it and let Diaz take it, he was in a much better position. And then that would have been 3-0. And then we're coasting. We're all looking forward to the roast chicken with stuffing, putting our feet up on this Sunday instead of the heart attack second half we did have. Yeah, it was. It was really intense, wasn't it? And then you could almost feel the moments that we'd had that we didn't get it over the line. It just served to give him a little bit of confidence. Cunha's finish with his weaker foot as well. Just, you were like, oh, here we go. Literally perfect finish. Nothing you could do about it. Bit Salah-like in its delivery. And then it's just like
we could just feel they grow into the game. They really did grow into the game. And I've always thought they're a mid-table team. And even when I saw them down there early in the season, I thought they were a mid-table team, and they'd mix it around with, in a normal season, your Brightons, your Bournemouths, etc. They're around about that sort of level. So for me, it's about us. It's about us understanding that teams like that will come and have a go. You know what I mean? They're quite an attacking team as well, so they've got a bit about them. And we just obviously we need to get it over the line today. Not a great performance. A lot of nerves second half, but ultimately 2-1 win. Bottoms up. 7 points clear.
Definitely. 7 points clear. I've just got to also give a bottoms up for Dominic Szoboszlai. I think now we've kind of conditioned our minds and cut him a little bit of slack that he's not the next Steven Gerrard, but no one ever will be. He's not going to get 10 goals and 10 assists every season. What he is going to do, and I thought it was today more than ever, is he's got the engine to get himself around the pitch. And I got to admit, in them last 10, 20 minutes, I was looking at him to get around the pitch even more and try to break up attacks. You can always rely on him. The last couple of games, I think he's been superb. Pretty much the whole of 2025, basically.
Yeah, I agree. I think with players like Van Dijk, you can almost play with a defender less at the back, or play with a defensive player less at the back at points. I think with someone like Dominic Szoboszlai, you can get away with playing 3 in midfield instead of 4. You know what I mean? He just covers that much distance and does that much work. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes when he gets on the ball, he hasn't got the control that probably we would like. But out of possession, he's probably our most important midfielder in the way he operates. He really is.
Not more important than Gravenberch, though. I mean,
well, yeah,
Jose Ferreira is just in there in the comments saying that Ryan Gravenberch, best midfielder in the world. I'm not sure if that was tongue in cheek, but yeah, I thought Gravenberch again was efficient, always comfortable on the ball, always wanting the ball. And I think, do you know what? I think Szoboszlai or Gravenberch might have been my choice for man of the match. Whoever give it to Robertson, I'm not sure. Like we said at the top of the show, I'm not sure who's picked that or what game they were watching. But yeah, Ryan Gravenberch, yet again, he's done another 90 minutes as well, hasn't he? He must have played the most minutes for us, apart from probably Verge.
Yeah.
Salah's been brought off a couple of times.
He has, yeah. It's probably Van Dijk. And then it's got to be, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's been superb. That's it, Obi. We're going. I've promised you that the league title is going to be decided by 6:30 on Sunday, the 23rd of February. It's going to be decided. It's on these next 2 games, away to Villa and away to Man City. We're going to be there, no doubt, Wednesday night for match reaction after Villa. But are you dreading this one or looking forward to it, Obi?
What wins it for us, Scott? Do you think 4 points in the next 2 games gets us over the line?
Yes.
Okay. If that's the case, I think I'm looking forward to it.
When we were talking the other week, we said these next 4 games, what did we say? 8 points.
Yeah.
We'd take 8 from them, 12. So we're halfway there. We've took 4 from 6.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah,
absolutely.
Another draw and a win. So you got to be thinking a win at Villa Park and a draw at the Etihad.
Yeah. And if we win at Villa Park, we go into the Etihad game knowing that a point puts us in a really strong position, and a draw, it would be a massive boost for the team. Anything above that's brilliant. And even if you narrowly lose, it's not a fatal blow, considering we're still 7 points clear. I think that's really important.
I've seen another thing today. We play 4 games, including today, over this next space, while Arsenal only play 2. So we're going to end up having played 2 more games than Arsenal.
No, we had a game in hand, didn't we? Everton was our game in hand over that period.
Yeah,
so it must
including
be 1
today. So from today, mind you, this draws us level, doesn't it? So we're level on games now.
Yeah.
So basically, after our next 3 games, we're going to be a game ahead of Arsenal. I don't know why.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. As long as we've got points on the board, doesn't matter. Definitely. Almost takes the pressure off, doesn't it? Because playing second in these circumstances is always more pressurising. And I think I mean, I assume Arsenal got a game midweek as well. So I don't know if they play before or after us, but I would like it if they did play after us, but probably play before us.
I think it's next. They haven't got a game this week, not in the league anyway. I don't know if they have something elsewhere. No, they haven't. It's not. They're out of the FA Cup. They haven't got a Champions League game. No, they haven't got a game. So we both play next weekend. So we play midweek, and then it must be the game after that we play before them. So we're going to basically have played a game more than them after our next 3 games.
It's all to play for. Though, Scott, if we take 6 points, it's hammer blow then, isn't it?
Oh, yes. It'll be over. It'll be absolutely over, and number 20 will be in the bag.
Yeah, love it.
That
absolutely
can I assure
love it.
you. Yeah. Right, mate. Cheers for joining me. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe if you made it this far. Really appreciate it. Helps the channel. And me and Obi will see you on the next one. Up the mighty Reds. 7 points clear. Everyone. Come on.
Mella. Lovely cushioned header. But Gerrard!